Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today's topic is the brachial plexus. It's a very important topic in the upper limb. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe now. Keep watching the videos. We will continue with the important topics in the upper limb in the next videos. Brachial plexus. Do you know the meaning of brachial? Brachium means arm. So the nerve plexus supplying the arm. This we will see under the following headings: mode of formation, relations and branches, and also the applied anatomy of the brachial plexus. Formation: brachial plexus is formed by the four cervical and first thoracic spinal nerves, lower four cervical and first thoracic spinal nerve, and it is formed by the anterior primary rami. So the student should not confuse anterior and posterior. All the muscles are supplied by the anterior primary rami only, and the posterior primary rami supply the skin adjoining the spinal or the center of the spine. So this anterior primary rami of lower four cervical and greater part of the anterior primary ramus of first thoracic spinal nerves. But in some cases, the twig from T1 is absent. Then C4 gives a contribution. That types of flexes are called prefixed. So now you can understand, I think. So this is C5, C6, C7, C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. So these are the anterior primary rami of the lower four cervical and upper one thoracic spinal nerve. Sometimes C4 may give a twig and T1 will be absent. Then that type of brachial plexus is called prefixed. In some cases, C5 is absent, C2 gives a contribution, then that types will be called as postfixed. So now you have understood the normal formation of brachial plexus and variants called prefixed and postfixed. Prefixed is usually associated with the cervical rib, and postfixed is in postfixed, the first rib is often reduced to a fibrous strand. So in this variations of the ribs, we have the prefixed and postfixed brachial plexus. Now we will see in detail the mode of formation of brachial plexus. There are 5 stages in the formation of brachial plexus: root stage, trunk stage, division stage, card stage, and branch stage. So now we will see this 5 stages. So you should understand in this juncture, some stages are present in the neck, some stage is present in the apex of the axilla, and some stages are present purely in the axilla. So the root and trunk, they are present in the neck. Division stage is present in the apex of the axilla, that is called cervicoaxillary canal. Card and branch stages, they are present in the axilla. So in the beginning of this dissection in the first MBBS, you are doing the upper limb. Mainly you will see this card stage and branch stages in this part of the dissections. When you do the dissection in the head and neck region, you can appreciate the root and trunk stage. So now in the dissection, you will see the card and branch stages in the upper limb. So this C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1, they are the roots. So they join to form the trunks. How do they join? C5 and C6 join to form the upper trunk. C7 passes as middle trunk. C8 and T1 join to form the lower trunk. Now you can understand in this picture C5, C6, C7, C8, T1. These are the root stages. So next is the trunk stage. C5 and C6 join to form upper trunk. C7 continues as middle trunk. C8 and T1 join to form the lower trunk. Now next comes the division stages. You have to understand each trunk divides into anterior and posterior divisions. Now you can see upper trunk divides into anterior and posterior division. Middle trunk divides into anterior and posterior division. Lower trunk divides into anterior and posterior divisions. Next comes the card stages. Three cards are formed: lateral card, medial card, and posterior card. So the trunks are called as upper, middle, lower. Cards are called as lateral, medial, and posterior. How the lateral card is formed? The anterior divisions of upper and middle trunk join to form lateral card. The anterior division of this lower trunk, it continues as medial card. All the posterior divisions of all the three trunks join to form the posterior card. So posterior card, posterior divisions, all the posterior divisions. Lateral card, you have to remember anterior divisions of upper and middle trunk. Medial card, anterior division of lower trunk. Now you can then appreciate the root value of the cards. For example, lateral card root value will be C5, C6 and C7. Medial card root value will be C8 and T1. Posterior card's root value will be maybe from C5 to T1. So these are the card stages. Then the branches stage. So with this one picture, you should be able to understand the brachial plexus stages. So each trunk we have seen already in the picture, it divides into an anterior and posterior divisions. Anterior divisions of upper and middle trunks unite and form the lateral card. Anterior division of the lower trunk passes as the medial card. Posterior divisions of all the three trunks join to form the posterior card. So we have completed the root stages, trunk stages and formation of the cards. The first two stages are situated, as I have already told, they are present in the posterior triangle of the neck. You will see these stages when you dissect the neck region. What are the first two stages? Roots and trunks. Division stage is present in the apex of the axilla, cervicoaxillary canal. The next stages, two stages, they are the cards and branches. They are present in the axilla. Now again in this you can appreciate the stages. These are the root stages. These are the trunk stages. These two stages are present in the neck posterior triangle, otherwise supraclavicular. This division stage is exactly present in the apex. That apex is bounded by the clavicle. So that is the division stage. Card stage and present this branches stage you can appreciate in the axilla along with the dissection of the axillary artery. Distribution, very briefly we will see in this brachial plexus. Slowly you will learn all these nerves when you dissect the arm, forearm and the hand. The lateral and medial cards, you have to remember how they are formed. Formed by the anterior divisions. So they will supply the anterior compartment of the arm and forearm. Posterior card, how it is formed? Formed by the posterior divisions. They supply the posterior compartment or extensor compartment of the limb. That's a simple way to remember this distribution of the brachial plexus. Relations, as we have already seen the first two stages and the third stage, which we are not dissecting now. So we will confine ourselves to the relations of this card and branches stage. Only the cards are present in the axilla so that they are palpated posterior to the sternocleidomastoid muscle and feels like a bunch of tense cards. So that is the way to palpate the cards of the brachial plexus. The cards bear the corresponding relation to the second part of the axillary artery. So now you can see in this picture axillary artery also. It is divided into three parts by the pectoralis minor muscle. First part, second part and third part. So these three cards, they are named as lateral, medial and posterior according to its relation to the second part of axillary artery. So this is the second part of axillary artery. So this card is lateral card, this card is medial card and the posterior card is also seen. But in first part of the axillary artery, relations differ. So this you should have learnt in detail in the relations of the axillary artery. Just we have to refresh this. The lateral and posterior cards are posterior to the first part. The lateral and posterior cards are lateral to the first part and the medial card is posterior to it. The first and second parts of the axillary artery are related to the cards of brachial plexus. Third part of the axillary artery are related to the branches of brachial plexus. So we have completed still now the mode of formation of brachial plexus, relations of brachial plexus. Now we will see the branches of brachial plexus. We can divide the branches under two types, supraclavicular and infraclavicular. So supraclavicular, what are the parts of supraclavicular parts of brachial plexus? Root and trunk stage. So the branches from root and trunk stage will be called as supraclavicular. Infraclavicular will be the branches from the cards. Supraclavicular branches from the roots, few branches are given. Dorsal scapular nerve, that is the nerve to rhomboids, C5. Nerve to serratus anterior, C5, C6, C7. It is also called as long thoracic nerve of Bell. The third branches to the scalene muscles in the neck. So these three branches directly arise from the roots. These three branches we have to remember. Now it is the supraclavicular part of brachial plexus. You can see the scalene muscles. So these are the branches to the scalene muscle. So this is the serratus anterior. These are the branches to the serratus anterior. And this is the dorsal scapular nerve. So these branches are given in the neck from the roots. From the upper trunk. So three trunks are there, but only upper trunk gives the branches called as suprascapular nerve and nerve to subclavius. We can remember SS, two branches, and this point is called as Eppes point. It is not a point, it is about 1 centimeter at which 6 nerves meet. So this may be asked as short notes for you. So this, what are the 6 nerves? C5 root, C6 root, suprascapular nerve, nerve to subclavius, and this is the upper trunk which divides into anterior and posterior divisions. So these are the 6 branches. They meet at this point. That point is called the Eppes point. So the trunk, middle trunk and lower trunk, there are no branches. Now branches of the cards. Lateral card, it will be formed by root value C5, C6, C7. 3 branches. Lateral pectoral nerve. So supplies the pectoralis major muscle. Musculocutaneous nerve. It is the nerve of the anterior compartment of the arm. Lateral root of median nerve. Median nerve is formed by two roots. One is lateral root, another is medial root, that will be from the medial card. Branches from the medial card, its root value will be C8 and T1. 5 branches. medial pectoral nerve, medial root of median nerve, two cutaneous nerves, medial cutaneous nerve of arm and medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, and ulnar nerve. Branches of posterior card, its root value may be from C5 to T1. Two subscapular nerve, these two nerves, C5 and C6, upper and lower, they supply the subscapularis muscle. Axillary nerve, C5 and C6, they will supply it supplies the deltoid and the teres major muscle. Now to latissimus dorsi, C6, C7, C8 supplies the latissimus dorsi muscle. Radial nerve, which is the nerve of the posterior compartment of the arm and the forearm. So now we can see the branches. So this is the second part. This is lateral card, medial card, posterior card. Lateral card branches. This is the lateral pectoral nerve. This is the lateral root of median nerve. So which is joined by the medial root to form the median nerve. This is the musculocutaneous nerve and this is the lateral pectoral nerve. Between these axillary artery and vein, two nerves are present, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm and ulnar nerve. And this is the medial pectoral nerve. So from the posterior card, we can see the two branches, axillary nerve and the radial nerve. So same picture in the dissection. So we have seen the branches of brachial plexus in detail. Now we will see the applied anatomy of the brachial plexus. Brachial plexus, it is the plexus for the upper limb. So one more applied anatomy we should learn before we learn the injuries and the compression syndromes. If you want to anesthetize the upper limb, if you want to do any surgeries in the upper limb, you should be able to give the brachial plexus block so that you can do surgeries without the general anesthesia. So brachial plexus is an important topic for the anesthetists. We will now see the compression syndromes. The brachial plexus may be compressed in three areas between the scalene muscles over the first thoracic rib by a cervical rib, behind a deformed clavicle, underneath the coracoid process and pectoralis minor. So it may be the compression syndromes of brachial plexus. It may be injured also. So signs and symptoms depend on which part of the plexus is injured. Important injury we will see is the Eppes palsy. So we have learnt Eppes point. Eppes point is that point at which six nerves meet. So if it is injured, when it will be injured, you have to imagine if you are increasing the angle between the neck and the shoulder. So at that time, Eppes point is injured. So when it can happen, the injuries can occur in a person who is thrown from a motorcycle or a horse and lands on the shoulder, so that angle between the neck and shoulder is increased. So you can see in this picture how the person has fallen down from, for example, from a motorcycle and he has fallen on his shoulder, so that has increased the angle between the neck and shoulder. So it may injure the brachial plexus, Eppes point of the brachial plexus. So in this type of birth injuries, when the obstetrician is holding the hand and trying to deliver the baby, by increasing the angle between the neck and the shoulder, Eppes paralysis may happen. So what are the effects of the Eppes palsy? Arm is adducted and medially rotated. Elbow is extended, forearm is pronated. This position is usually called as porter's tip position or policeman's tip position. So policeman without trying to hide that he is taking the tip, he will do this gesture, and this gesture is now It is named for the Eps paralysis. You can appreciate this. He is just uh, showing the hand back to get the tips. So this is called policeman's tips position. Arm is adducted, medially rotated, elbow is extended, forearm is pronated. Injury to the lower trunk of brachial plexus when happens when holding the stem of the when a person is falling and holding the stem of the tree during falling, or in birth injuries again in hand presentation. This is called as Klumpke's paralysis. So you can see when a person is falling from a height to hold the stem of a tree, he has extended his arm, stretched his arm, so that lower trunk is paralyzed. Again in this birth injuries in the hand presentation. The branches may be also be injured. Injury to the long thoracic nerve produces the winging of the scapula. Injury to the axillary nerve produces dropped shoulder. So there are so many types of injuries and compression to the brachial plexus. We have seen the important injuries. Now this is the winged scapula. So that borders of the scapula are visible on this side. So we have seen in detail the brachial plexus in this video, the mode of formation, relations of the brachial plexus, branches of the brachial plexus, injuries of the brachial plexus also. So with the next important topic in the upper limb, we will see in the next video. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe now. Thank you.